Good morning, everyone. I hope you are having a great day so far. Hi, my name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And today we are continuing our sew along doing the Oh So Delightful quilt from Kimberbell. So that's what we're working on today. We're actually already on week 5. It's kind of crazy how quickly this is flying by. So let me check the chat real quick. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Marina and Lori and Annette and Teresa and Becky. I'm so glad that y'all are all here with me. It's been a crazy morning. I've been running around doing all kinds of stuff around the house and on the computer, and I totally lost track of time. And next thing I knew, I looked up and I'm like, oh, it's time to go live. So I look a little bit of a mess, but it's fine. All right, so week 5, we are on section 2 of the quilt, and today we are going to be focusing on our filler blocks. So last week we started section 2, and I still haven't trimmed them yet. I'm gonna trim them today. And we completed the cute pincushion block last week and the flying geese block, which is super cute. I really, really love this one. And the filler blocks for the rest of section 2, I started them right before I went live again, lost track of time, are these long, skinny 1x6 blocks. We have 6 of those to make. I wanted to get a couple of them made before we went live. And then when I was getting my pieces ready out of my envelope for this, I noticed one of my pieces of fabric was cut smaller than all the rest. So at the very beginning of the sew along, when we talked about preparing for this quilt, one of the tips that I got was the cutting recommendations for the filler blocks. The tip that I got is to cut it a 1/2 inch bigger than what the cutting direction said. So I did that for all but one of my filler blocks for the 1x6. You see how much smaller this one is? So this one is like exactly the size of what is it, like the basting stitch to tack down the background fabric. It's like the exact size. So what I did was I just put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this piece of fabric and then laid it on top of my batting. So we're going to go through all of this. All the rest of my pieces are cut bigger like this one, so you can see the normal process of how I'm doing it. So what you're going to need for today is your pieces of your pre-cut filler blocks, both the 1x6s, and I think we have, let me see, section 2, we have 1 4x4 and 2 2x2. So I'm doing everything today in a 5x7 hoop just to keep it easy. I'm still combining a couple things in Embrilliance to save some hooping and stabilizer, but I'm just going to keep doing multiple hoopings of the 5x7. So that's the materials you're going to need for today is all the section 2 fillers. There's 3 different sizes, and you're going to want to grab your handy printable that I have for you. If you're not aware of any of this, I have a link down below directly to my website. Tells you all about this sew along and has the sign up for this free printable. So we're going to need to grab that so we can keep track of what filler block we're on and what background fabric it is, and what color thread I want to use for my background quilting. All right, let's see. I see Terry. Do I have to cut all the pieces, including the filler blocks and the batting, a bigger size so that they don't shift in the embroidery hoop? So Terry, what I'm doing, and this is personal preference, and the last page is, let's start with batting. So the last page of this is batting cut sizes. If you want to cut your batting a little bit bigger than what is required, that is perfectly fine. What's going to happen is when you're stitching, you're going to have the first stitch is going to be a placement stitch showing you where to put your batting. And the second step is going to be a tack down stitch, tacking down your batting. After that tack down stitch, you will need to trim the outer edges of your batting like an applique. All right, so that's option one. Cut your batting bigger, but we'll need to trim your batting after it's tacked down. Option number two is to cut your batting to the exact size that is needed, which ends up being the actual final size of your block. So 4x4 block, 2x2 block, today 1x6 block. You can cut your batting to the exact size it's needed, skip the tack down step and cutting, trimming altogether. And what I'm using is either some temporary spray adhesive and spraying it on the back of my batting and carefully putting it right in the placement stitch area, so it shows you like right where to put it. Use some kind of spray adhesive or even an Elmer's school glue stick to keep your batting in place, and skip the tack down, skip the trimming. And then I go straight to adding the background fabric on top of it. So it's up to you on what you want to do. Now for the filler blocks, I did cut all of my filler blocks to be a 1/2 inch bigger than the recommendation. The cutting instructions. The cutting instructions have you cut it to the exact size of what the block needs to be with seam allowance included. So a normal 2x2 block, you actually want the block to be 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and that gives you a 1/4 inch seam allowance going all the way around. So when it's all sewn together and done, it's 2x2. Let me show you my bits that I have done already. So like these, for example, but it's counting that seam allowance. So I kind of did the opposite with the background fabric. I am cutting it so that it's bigger, so that my basting stitch will actually catch the fabric and hold it into place. And then I'm removing that basting stitch when it's done and trimming my block to the size. So all of it's personal preference. You can do whatever you like best. All right. Oh, Marina, I hope your ankle boot comes off. Yay, and your daughter's getting married. Congratulations. That's exciting. Very exciting. Okie dokie. So I have a mess on my table here. Let me get straight. I got my supplies for the filler blocks, including the background fabric and the batting. I have my 5x7 hoop. I'm using lightweight cotton muslin as a stabilizer instead of no-show poly mesh. And I cut it into a long strip so that I can undo this hoop and then hoop right next to it. And so once I have several hoopings done, then I'm going to go and trim everything. So I'll show y'all that process. So 5x7 hoop, whatever stabilizer backing you're using. And then you grab your thread colors that you need for your quilting for these. So like according to my little chart, I need light gray, dark green, light pink, dark pink, any pink, navy, mint, and then gray again. So I'll be grabbing all those thread colors and go over to the machine. And I'll also go ahead and show you in Embrilliance how I'm combining the different designs in one hooping, so that I am doing a couple blocks in one hoop. So, all right, Teresa has a good point. She says maybe resize in Embrilliance. So are you talking about resizing the basting stitch so that it actually does catch the fabric if you cut it to the exact size? I don't know if I would do that. You could, like, I guess just take that one stitch and squeeze it in by like, a 1/4 of an inch or less. But I don't know if I would do that. I think you can get by with, if you like, in my case here where I cut my fabric too small, it's still the right size for the block, the overall block, and have my seam allowance, but it's not big enough to catch that um, basting stitch to go around. I don't know that I would resize the basting stitch so that it went here. Um, okay, and then what about all the rest of the pieces besides the filler blocks and the batting? The cut sizes for everything else is appropriate. It's bigger than what the block actually is. So here's the cutting instructions that's in your design book, and it shows you each piece of fabric, and it shows you what you should cut your block at. So for instance, a 4x4 block, so like what my scissors blocks are, the final size of the block is 4x4. The with the seam allowance, it's 4.5. No. Let me find a picture. Oh, with the seam allowance, it's 4.5 by 4.5. The cutting instructions for this navy blue block, for example, it says to cut the background fabric to be 6.5 by 6.5. So it's having you cut it even larger than what you need it to be. So the basting stitch is able to hold it down, and you end up trimming it to 4.5 by 4.5 when you're done. So all the cutting and fabric instructions for the regular blocks are great, probably even a little too big. You could maybe even squeeze it down a little. But the cutting instructions for all the filler blocks are too small. I've been told that Kimberbell has updated this in their newer designs where they do the cutting instructions for the filler blocks to be bigger. I hope that makes sense. Okay, wait, I'm reading Terry's question. I think I misunderstood. Okay. The rest of the pieces like applique and the rest of the quilt. Okay, so hopefully that I just answered that, Terry. So no, all the rest of the, like the pincushion block, the flying geese block, the scissors block, all the cutting instructions for those background fabrics, just follow what the book says. So like I said, what ends up being a 4x4 block, the cutting instructions are telling you to cut a 6.5 by 6.5, so that you have plenty of room going around it. Okay, so Teresa is asking about the resizing and embrilliance. Okay, so can I resize the 2x6 hobby quilt filler blocks to 1x6 because it does not come in a 1x6 size? Correct. I think only the pins comes in a 1x6 size. Let me check. So I think I know what you're thinking. There are two hobby named background quilting designs. One says hobby 1 and one says hobby 6. The pins quilting is hobby 1, and that comes in the 1x6 size. If you would prefer to use a different background quilting for these long strips and it doesn't come in a 1x6 size, then yes, you can adjust it in brilliance so that it does end up being a 1x6 design if you want like different background quilting. We can play with that in brilliance right now. All right, I'm going to jump to Embrilliance. I cannot see the comments when I'm on Embrilliance, so just be patient with me. When I come back to my regular camera, I'll look and see what questions were posted, or if you want to wait to post your question until I come back. We cannot buy the pins design as a standalone. It was part of the bundle. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Okay, well, let's play around with the Hobby 6 and we'll make it the size we need it to be. Okay, so here's Embrilliance. Okay. And crazy screen. Okay. Now you should see my Embrilliance program open on my computer, and I already did the pins. So I see what she was saying, where if you didn't get the whole bundle of the background quilting, apparently this one is not available to buy on its own. So when I bought Oh So Delightful, this is the background quilting bundle. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this one is the one we're using today, and apparently that one is not available to buy standalone. So it's pattern number 186, and when I click on it, yeah, it's just this one file. So it's 1x6. All right, so let's try the idea of using Hobby 6. Oh, this one's Hobby 1 is the border stuff. Okay, Hobby 6, super cute design with the scissors and stuff. And you can see it does not come in a 1x6 option. It comes in the 2s. So let's open a 2x6. Here we go. So we want to make this work. To be honest, you could have it go just like this, because when we look at the quilt, it would just make your overall dimensions 2 inches longer. So just a thought, but it would throw off everything else. So maybe it's a bad thought. But these 3 strips, let me go here. All right, so what we're looking at is this gray, green, red, navy, mint, gray. Those 3 strips. If you wanted to just do the 2x6 as it is, this bit would just be a smidge taller, which would throw your overall dimensions of your quilt to be, what, 2 inches longer? That's a thought, but you'd have to recalculate the cuts for the borders. That's one option. But let's go back to Embrilliance and look at this. All right, so if I look at this overall design in Embrilliance, I could see that it is 2.5 by 6.5. When I open the pins and just open one of them, the overall design is 1.5 by 6.5. So all I need to do is shrink this down to be 1.5 wide. So I'm going to select it, and I don't want to resize the whole thing. I only want to resize horizontally in this case. So I'm going to move this until this number reads 1.5. Right there. So it just looks a little funny, but I think it's still cute. So yes, you could do that, and you can do that with any of the background quilting designs. So if you only bought Hobby 6, and because like I was telling people that to like save a little bit money if you don't want to spend all that money on the bundle, you could get away with just buying Hobby 6 and Hobby 1, because I really like the border stuff. Let's look at the borders and see if they have anything like we need now. They got 1x7. That's the ruler. And then the big border, the smallest is 3x7. So yeah, I think doing the Hobby 6 and changing it so that the overall dimensions are that, it just looks a little skewed, but I think it's still cute. And that's all you need to do. It should, because this is all running stitch, changing the size of the design shouldn't cause any craziness to happen with the stitch out. It all looks like it's still going to stitch fine. It just looks a smidge skewed. So let me go back here and check the comments and see if that made sense. Okay, Teresa, let me know if that helped you and that made sense. And then I'll move on to showing you how to, great, okay. I'll show you how to combine them now and stitch multiples in one hoop. All right, let's go back to Embrilliance. Boop, okay. So whether you are doing like Teresa and you're using a different background quilting and making it the size you want, or you have the actual pins one and it's already the size you need. What I am doing is combining two of them so that they fit in one hoop. So what you're going to do is start by opening your background quilting design, resize it if you have to, and then I move it kind of all the way over here just to give yourself some room. You probably don't need that much room, but I don't think it'd be a tight, let me look at my hoop. You might even be able to fit 3. Let's see. Let's do copy, paste. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, have it selected. Copy, paste. And then paste again. It'd be a tight squeeze because remember our material is, what did we do? Like a 1/4 inch more than what it needs to be. So the materials are probably going to overlap here and you just have to make sure that the material from this block doesn't catch on this block's basting stitch. You could try it if you want, but I think to be safe, I'm just going to do 2 per block. So I'm going to delete these. Okay, I'm going to start over. So I have my 1 block open. I move it off to the side. Now, because I'm doing the method of I cut my base, batting to be the size of this inner block already, I don't need this step and this step. So I can delete these. If you cut your batting to be bigger than this box, then you are going to need all these steps. You're going to need your, this is batting placement. This is batting tack down. This is background fabric placement. This is background fabric tack down. These are just to help guide you right where to put your batting and where to put your background fabric. If you're cutting your batting bigger, remember after this step, you're going to trim it so that it goes to being as big as this box here after you're done trimming it. In either case, you want it to where all of these steps are a different color so that when we duplicate this and we color sort it, you know, all of step 1 is going to stitch together. All of step 2 is going to stitch together. With the way we have it now, if step 1 and step 3 are the same color, they're going to stitch them both at the same time, and we don't want that. So what I'm going to do, since I'm cutting my batting to the size I need, I'm just going to go ahead and delete these 2 steps. So I hit delete, and I don't need the background fabric placement stitch personally. I know it needs to go right on top of the batting, so I delete that one too. So by doing that, now I only have 1 blue, 1 orange, 1 turquoise. So for me, that makes color sorting easy. Remember, if you are doing it the other way, all you need to do is select steps to really, you could leave 1 and 2 alone. And for step 3, just change it to a different color blue. And for step 4, just change it to a different color orange. So now all 5 steps are actually a different color. Okay, so whatever option, oops, what did I do? Oh, stop it. This one, delete. This one, delete. Okay. So whatever method you're doing, once you get your colors in order, now go ahead and duplicate this by selecting it, copy, paste. And now I have 2 of them, and they're both the colors that I need. and just drag it and put it on the other side of the hoop. Gives yourself plenty of space in between. But one last thing I do want to do is I'm going to end up doing a different color for this block for my background quilting than I will this block. So I'm going to go ahead and change this turquoise color to just a different shade of turquoise. Pick aqua. There we go. So now when I go to utility color sort, and I'll hit new view, now it has both my batting boxes, both my background fabric boxes, and then quilting for this block, change my color, quilting for that block. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And then I did utility Wi-Fi to Brother Baby Lock, and I already sent it to my machine. If you don't have a machine with Wi-Fi, go to File, Save Stitch File As, select your USB stick here on the side, name your design, choose your format, and hit Save. All right, let me know if all that made sense and if you have any questions. Good morning, Elsa. If you made it 1x3, you would probably lose the skew. Yes, that is an option. And then you could do more of those blocks so that it does actually end up fitting the width of the quilt like the 1x6s do. And you could do more color variation. That would be fun. Wow, Diana, it is late for you, girl. Thanks so much for joining us. Yay. All right, Deborah's saying she's still waiting for all of her supplies to come, and she's going to be using her Janome. I'm hoping it will. Yes, it's definitely going to work. Your Janome is a great machine. It has different size hoops than my brother. So you are just going to, if you have in Brilliance, when you go, let me show you. Desktop. Okay, and in Brilliance, go to the preference window and hoops. And what is the Janome? I think it's JEF. These are going to be your hoops. So you have a 6x6 hoop. You have all these different sizes. So you have 5x7. So you just pick whichever hoops come with your machine and then see how many blocks you can fit in one hoop with, having enough space in between the blocks so the background fabric doesn't catch. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I just stitched out 2 already. So I'm just going to roll this, unhoop, and my fabric here is, oh, there it goes. I want to say like 10 inches. It's like barely tall enough for my 5x7 hoop. You probably should cut yours maybe like a 1/2 inch taller. Because I'm cutting it very close here with being able to get this in right. So I'm just sliding it over so that I can get as close to this as possible and so that helps me to not waste my stabilizer / muslin. So I'm going to push the bottom in, pull this top fabric to be tight, and push it in. Like I said, I barely have enough to get the bottom and the top, and it's already tight. So now I can go to my machine with this. If I look at my, let's see, we're on page 5 of the handout. And what did I did? I did, before we started, 11 and 15. That was the navy fabric and the pink dots fabric. So right now, let's go ahead and stitch filler 9 and 10. And I'm going to need 2 of my battings. I did the option to cut them to size so I don't have to trim. And I need the gray dots fabric. So So these are all my fabrics I have left. Gray dots and green stars. And I need my light gray thread and my dark green thread. Did I say light gray? Yeah, light gray and dark green. So now I know everything I need for this, and I can go straight to my machine with it. And since I have this long bit of my, what we're calling stabilizer, my backing, I'm going to just roll it up and clip it so that it stays out the way. Like that, so you see. And then this will go over the embroidery arm. This is fine that I'm extending this bit. And here's the machine. Okay, I see Michelle is asking, so how do you order the fabric for this design, and does it come pre-cut? So I ordered it from an Etsy shop. It's like a quilt shop in Colorado that that has an Etsy shop, and I was able to buy it from them. Let's go check and see if it's still in stock. Let me show you. So when you go to my website and you scroll down here, recent, okay, here's the Oh So Delightful Sew Along. This page is going to give you all the info about this project, including where to buy. This first video shows you how to prepare everything. And these are kits you can purchase. So if you click this, it'll bring you to Kimberbell, no, Amazon. And this is where you can buy the book with the CD with all the designs. This is the background quilting that will bring you to Kimberbell, embellishment kit, and this is the fabric kit. And like I said, I got this on Etsy. And you have the option to buy the quilt, enough fabric for the whole quilt and all of these bonus projects that come with the CD here with the designs, or you can buy just the fabric to do the quilt. And then, yeah, you just buy it. I don't see, before it was saying they only had so many in stock, but now it looks like it's fine. So yes, that's where you can get the fabric kit. All that information is on my website on that post I showed you. All right, so going over to the machine, I've already sent my design to it and I have it uploaded. So it's ready to start stitching. I got light gray fabric, green fabric, green fabric, thread, Carly, thread. And the other thread you need is, get this done. Okay, so y'all can see how this is kind of laying over. This is staying rolled up right here. The other thread that I am using is the water soluble thread, and that is on the supply list as well on the website. It's called Vanish. Can you see that? This is water soluble thread, and I'm using that just for the basting box for the top thread, so that when I'm done, I can use a Q-tip and water and dissolve that thread. I could pull the bobbin thread right out, and I don't have to use a seam ripper to get it out. So that's the other thread you're going to need besides your colors for your background quilting. Okay, and I don't need navy right now. I'm going to load the light gray. I'm going to go ahead and do my placement stitch with the light gray. But you can do this with any color really. Just pay attention if your background fabric is super light and see-through, which we have backing on it to prevent anything see-through happening. But if I used a really contrasting color thread, it may be visible underneath. It shouldn't be though. All right, first step is the placement for the batting. And so I got my batting and I got my glue stick. You can also spray this, the back of the batting, with the temporary spray adhesive is an option as well. And I made myself like a little spray box. So like I put the batting inside and I spray it in the box so that the adhesive doesn't go everywhere. And then, but I find this is just easier. And I just use a smidge. And I haven't had any trouble with my needle, not gumming it up or anything. Okay, so there's my two placements for the batting. And I'm just gonna gently, I need to take my hoop out so I can actually reach some things. Gently put some of my glue stick on here so it holds my batting in place. I don't know if it's coming off. Okay, and then lay my batting right in the spot where the placement stitch is. And just be careful when you're pressing on your hoop that you're pressing it in a spot where the machine is underneath it so you don't mess up your stabilizer being taut. After that is done, you can go ahead and place your background fabric right on top of your batting. And for me, I'm just getting it centered right on top of the batting. This is why I skipped the background fabric placement stitch, because for me, this is easy. I can put this and I know where it goes. The batting is guiding me. All right, this is also when I want to change my thread to the water soluble, so I'm going to do that. And I'm gonna, where's my, here we go. I have my little stiletto handy just so that I can make sure this tacks down how I want it to. All right, water soluble thread, lower presser foot. Nope, I gotta lock my hoop in. Okay. And this is just tacking it down. Just trying to make it to where like it doesn't bubble up in the middle, but it's going to get quilted on top, so it's fine. And then it's going to switch to do this one because we color sorted. It's doing these two steps at the same time. All right. And then I'm gonna remove the water soluble thread. Wait for that to finish. And my next step is the quilting on this block, which I'm doing light gray. And this block will be the dark green. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my dark green red ready. And so this goes by super quick. So we'll be able to do 2 more really quickly. All right, just checking the chat. Okay, Michelle, great. I'm glad the website will help you find the link for Etsy. Ooh, that I want to do some of these. So Michelle's working on a cute Designs by Juju Easter table runner. She's doing the 6x10 learn how from your Christmas table runner. Yay, I'm glad that helped you. Okay, now switching to dark green thread. And this is all preference. If you want to do a different color thread for your background quilting, by all means, have fun with it. So when that's done, we'll take the hoop out, move it over, and repeat this process with the other 2 pieces of fabric. And let me go ahead and grab. So that's filler for me. I already did blocks 11 and 15. So I need to do 16 and 17, which is mint and light gray. So I just need to grab my mint thread and my fabrics. So these are the last 2 that we'll need. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. We'll go to the craft table and just move the hoop over. All right, so those 2 are done. Take my little clips out. Unhoop. And just slide it over until the green is like right on the edge there. And I may need to iron this. Go ahead and get this. The iron's probably sleeping. Yeah, my iron's sleeping. Wake up. Almost there. I didn't turn my other lights on. Hey, Google, turn the lights on. Hey, a little bit more light. Sorry if I blinded you for a second. I guess this crease in the middle just don't want to come out. It's not a big deal. But I did iron all this for my previous one where I used the whole strip. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so right on the edge of the green and right where the top and bottom cover the hoop. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. And now we can go back to the machine and just repeat. And Joe's like, and everyone's lights go on. If everyone else has a Google with a plug hooked up to it. So this is the only room I have Google in, because I bought like a Wi-Fi router a long time ago, and it came with an extra, what is it called, like extender, and it serves like as a little speaker and a little, you can buy plugs that work with it and stuff like that. So I have these lights that are literally like probably outdoor shop lights that have a clamp on the end, and I have them clamped to my, what is it called, curtain rods up here, so I can get more light when I need it. And I can't reach them. They're on a plug, so it works out really good to just tell the speaker to turn it on. But all the rest of the house has the A word. I don't want to set yours off. From Amazon. And Elise calls hers Voldemort when she doesn't want it to listen to her. Like when she's telling me something about the speaker, she calls it Voldemort. Because, what is it? The name we shall not say or something. I forget what he says in the movie. Anywho, gotta love technology. All right, so I'm gonna go back to light gray to stitch my placement. And that's going to show me where to put the batting. And then I'm going to load my water-soluble thread. That's what I'm going to need for the next step. All right, got my glue stick ready. Okay, and now put my batting right where it goes, inside that placement stitch. Make sure my hoop is back on. And now we add our fabric. So I gotta look at my cheat sheet. And the first one's mint, the second one's gray. This, not that it matters, because I just have to make sure I use my mint thread on this one. Okay, place those on top. Change my thread to the water soluble. And I gotta remember with this water soluble to use a spool cover because the thread gets caught on it. Okay, and that is now ready. Stitch that basting box. Okay. And mint thread for the quilting. Now we'll do the quilting on here and then the quilting on there, and then we're done with those boxes. And we need to put together the 2x2 blocks in Brilliance. So let's go back to Embrilliance. I think I made one already. Let's go back. I made working files for all of these. Let's see. Section 2, 1x6 fillers. That's what we just did. Okay, this is section 2, 2x2 filler. So if you look at the cheat sheet, the actual numbers is on page 5, filler number 12 and filler number 13. It is a 2x2 geometric, and that's going to use the white floral fabric with dark pink thread, and then a 2x2 of the zigzag horizontal, and I'll end up using the pink dots fabric with light pink quilting. So all you need to do is just open up those designs into that hoop and spread them apart to give yourself some room. And we'll do the same thing we did with the 1x6, where either you delete steps or change colors so that we can color sort it. I'm just changing the thread on the machine real quick to the gray so it can finish the other stitching. Okay, so in my case, I'm not doing step 2. I'm not doing step 3. And I'm going to do that here too. Delete step 2, delete step 3. And I'm just going to change the color of this. Okay. And that is ready to color sort. So I'm going to hit Utility, Color Sort. So now I have my 2 batting boxes, my 2 background fabric boxes, this quilting, and this quilting. And I can send this to my machine. And I'm going to name it 2x2 section 2 filler. And because my computer and my machine are on the same Wi-Fi network, I got the file was sent to the machine. Okay, so that is done. So now we got all 6 of these. So I did 4 of them live here. So these 2 are going to be your homework. And now let's go ahead and move the hoop over and do the 2x2 blocks. And then we only have a little bit left. One more hoop in after this. Okay. And I need this and this and these 2 and dark pink and light pink. I got light pink over there already. So this is the dark pink. I still never did get that order in. If you've been following along since the beginning, I told y'all about a website that I found that sold the glide thread that matches the kit, and also sold half-yard increments of all of the fabrics for this kit. I placed an order a month ago and it still has not shipped. So I don't know how much I can recommend. Is it Oh My Crafty Supplies is the name of the company, and I've tried emailing them to ask them, you know, what's the status, is, you know, back order, you know, like just give me something, but they haven't replied. Okay. Got all my stuff ready. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to home, embroidery, Wi-Fi, and there's my 2x2 section 2 filler. There it is, set, embroidery. I already have the gray thread on, so I'm gonna lower the presser foot. I need to lock my hoop in place. And this will be my placement for the batting. So anybody else order from the Oh My Crafty Supply place? Anyone else have a better experience? I want to say someone told me about that place. I think it was a good spot. So I don't know what the issue is. Oh, in other news, I got, I think, a notification that my Kimberbell package that I ordered last week is coming in today. If you missed it, I bought something else to do with sew along, another sew along after this one's done, and that is the Main Street Celebration bench pillow. It was on sale last week for $15. I'm sorry, I could not pass that up. And it should be coming in the mail today. And I don't know, depending on my schedule, I might start that sew along like soon and just do it another day. Or I might record it and just post it because I want to get that pillow made. And it only has 7 blocks. So stay tuned if you bought that pillow too last week when I told you about it. We might start that sew along earlier than I initially thought, because I think I should get it done before the kids get out of school, because there's no way they're going to let me make videos while they're out of school. Okay, the top, I have these kind of mixed up. So the top one is the zigzag, that one is the pink dots, and it is a directional fabric. I guess you can choose what direction you want it to be in. I think all the 1x6 blocks went horizontal. Let me see what it looks like. Oh, this one goes up and down, so they switch it up. I don't know how well you can see this, but this is the same fabric and the dots go horizontally. This is the block we're doing and the dots go vertically. So it kind of changes it up a little bit. But you can do it either way. And then the one that's a geometric is the white floral. This one's super cute. Just make sure it's in the middle. And I am changing thread to the water soluble. Okay. So that is ready. Tack it down. All right, and scissors. The quilting on this one is the dark pink. No, light pink. Light pink. Okay, and that can go. And then the quilting on this one is the dark pink, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that thread on my spool. And that was fast. Okay. And now the last I don't think I made I don't think I opened the design yet, so let me do that real quick. So the last, I never made the 4x4 because it's just a single design. So let me go to background quilting. Let me look at my cheat sheet. So this is on page 6 and it's filler block number 14 and it's hearts 2 4x4. So I'm going to look. Why does it say hearts 2? I think it's supposed to be hearts 5. All right. There's no other heart option. No. Okay, it's got to be this one. That's probably a typo on my end. Embroidery files, block by block. Doesn't matter what format you open. And hearts 4x4. That's what I want. So I'm just going to double click that. And I am going to, again, delete steps 2 and 3. And just send that to my machine. So I'm just going to hit utility, Wi-Fi, and this is 4x4 section 2 filler. All right. So now let me go get the hoop. All right, so here are our 2x2 blocks. Pop that out. Ooh, Patricia said she bought the Twilight Boulevard. Can't wait to start that. Oh, I would like that one too. If that goes on sale, I'll probably buy it. I think y'all have learned from me that I keep saying I'm not going to get things. Not going to buy anymore, but I do. It's speaking of not buying anymore, and I'm going against my thing is so another thing that's offered from Kimberbell is their subscription. So that's under Me Time Delivered, and they come out with a Bella box. It comes out twice a year, and I have a collection of them. And I told myself that when the spring box came out, I was going to skip it because I have that option with my subscription. I can skip it and then I won't get charged and I won't get the box, but I can still get the next box when it comes out in the fall. And I said I was going to skip it, and I watched the video showing the preview of what's in the box, and now I'm not skipping it. And so I'll be getting the Bella box. I think in a couple of weeks it's gonna, or maybe next week it might ship out. So see, I keep doing this to myself. All right, so that is the 4x4 block. This is the last filler block we sent, and it has that hearts design, and I sent it to the machine already. And you can use either the light pink or the dark pink for the quilting. I think I'll do the light pink, so maybe it stands out a little more. So let me hit OK. Home, OK. Embroidery, Wi-Fi. Four by 4, section 2, filler. So there's the block, embroidery. All right, the first step is showing me where to put my batting. I have the dark pink thread already on there. I'm just going to go ahead and use that. Lock my hoop in. Let's see how we're doing on time. It's not even 12 o'clock yet. I think we should trim all these and sew them up. Because last time I couldn't do that live because I couldn't find something I needed. But I want to get it all done. All right, so showing me where to put my batting. That right where it needs to go. And then put my fabric right on top. A little bit bigger than the batting. And I'm going to put my water soluble thread back on. Okay. I'm going to base this down. Okie dokie. Chain to whatever color you want for your background quilting now. I'm going to do the light pink. Okay, now we're going to let that go. And I'm going to go get my orange pop rulers and my rotary, get all that set up and ready. Let's see. Patricia said, I put my name on the wait list for that. That one has to be the best. Oh, you're talking about the Bella box? Yes, it's super cute. Super, super cute. Let me show you in case you haven't seen it. Let's see. So Me Time Delivered. I have a referral link to Me Time Delivered too. I'm an affiliate for them. Unfortunately, I'm not an affiliate for Kimberbell though. I don't know how to do that. I have to ask them. But if you are interested in the Bella box, I'm gonna put my link in the chat. But this is the new one that's coming out. This was last fall's. It was super cute. And this is the newest one. And so the box comes with everything that you need inside of it, with the exception of stabilizer, for all 5 of these projects. So a scissors zippered bag, and it comes with a special blank zippered bag that's has open seams. It's really cute. A cute pin cushion. I love this one. This is a leather tote kind of box and bin, I guess you could say, and it comes flat, and then it all goes together to form the little bin, so it could be flat when you embroider it. This is an in the hoop door hanger, and then this is what really sold me, is this project that we embroider and then turn it into a clock. So it comes with everything you need to make this clock, and it comes, of course, with all the designs for these projects. And it got a bunch of bonus stuff in there too. And then there's bonus designs. So they don't give you the materials to do these, but they have extra designs for totes, for the zippered bag, the door hangers. And then it does come with everything you need. This is called punch embroidery. So not done on your embroidery machine, but it comes with the kit with everything to make that adorable sewing machine frame punch embroidery. So I really wanted that too. But you could kind of see it. And then this is the box. It's got a machine cleaning kit. It's got tape. It's got notions. It's got fabric, all the yarn for the punch needle. It's a really, really cute kit. So if you are not already subscribed, I think you have to get on the wait list. Yeah, get notified when subscriptions go on sale. So I'm already subscribed. So for me, my box is going to get shipped on the 15th. But if I wanted to skip this box like I was supposed to, I would go and press a button on my account saying skip the box before April 15th, and then I wouldn't get billed and it wouldn't get shipped, but then I'd still be on the list for the fall box. So once you're on the subscription, just stay on it, and then you could skip boxes, or be like me and say you're going to skip boxes and don't skip boxes. I'm a mess, I know. Okay, so we are done. This was the last block we stitched. It's super duper cute. The quilting's very subtle, but it's very pretty, very pretty. All right, so now we have to trim all of these and put them all together to make section 2. So what I'm using, oh, I forgot an important piece. Where is it? Okay, I'm using a rotating cutting mat, so it rotates. And rotary blade, and what's called orange pop ruler. So if you've seen any of the past videos, you see that this is what I use to trim out the blocks. I think it is possible to trim the blocks without the orange pop ruler. Mainly, I would say the easiest way would be, oh, I forgot. I got to remove all the basting stitches. Once you take this basting stitch out, you can see the batting. You would take your ruler. I have no clue where my ruler is. Here it is. And put your ruler to where your 1/4 inch line goes right on the line of the batting. And then you would trim it so that you end up having a finished block right where your basting stitch is, which is why we need to remove the basting stitch. Or you can use the orange pop ruler. So first things first, I'm gonna wake my iron up and I'm gonna go get some water and Q-tips very quickly. Go Ozzy. Water, Q-tips. Luckily, my girl's bathroom is right next door, so that is very easy to go grab. All right. And then we're going to press each block as well. So with the water-soluble thread we use for the basting stitch, you just need to run some water along it, which I forgot how long this little step takes, so I might not be piecing everything together live and just record it and make it go in fast forward motion so you don't have to sit and watch piecing for 30 minutes and do it in 5 minutes instead. That's what I did last time. I just recorded making it and sped up lots, most of the parts so that you get the gist of what's happening. All right, so once you do that, you can take the bobbin thread from the back and it just pulls right away. So now this one's ready to trim. It's got these stitches here, but those I think are outside of the cut area. Okay, so I'm gonna put that on the side and move on to the next one. Well, let's go ahead and get that one done so you see the process. Move this, grab this. Now, the trick I learned with ironing things that have 3D is, like in this case, we didn't add all the embellishments yet, but the velvet and the flex foam is in here, giving it 3D, and I don't want to, I don't know how sensitive the velvet is to heat and the flex foam. So what you can get is some sort of fluffy towel. I had a couple microfiber cloths in here, so I'm just gonna put that. And I did this with, I gotta show y'all the banner in case you never saw it. I did this yesterday with a project I did, and I find it came out really nice. And you're gonna put your project upside down so that when you're pressing it, it's going into something nice and soft and not hard and smushing it. Okay, and then if you want to be, oh, my bobbin thread went crazy here. I'm just noticing that. If you want to be extra careful, you can use some kind of pressing cloth. I just have a little bit extra of this muslin. And press. Just to make sure the block's nice and smooth. Okay. I don't think, was my iron hot? Maybe it is. All right. Let's see how that looks. That's good. All right, so once you have that done, now get your rotating mat. Mine comes in like 2 pieces. So you see it's got this round circle and then it fits in this round circle. So when I pull it apart, there we go. I have trouble getting it back in. All right. And then for me, my space is always crowded. Make sure I can Yep, see, it's hitting the water. Make sure I can move this around. And I put this here, tuck in my little thread because I don't want to trim that on accident. And now I find the orange pop ruler for this size, which I think the finished size is 4 by 6. So this ruler is 4.5 by 6.5. I'm actually going to turn it on the back side. And when I do that, I really want to make sure my little thread stays in the middle. And for me, I can center it very easily by using my batting stitch line and make sure that I have my like the distance between that batting stitch line and the ruler is equal all around. They did have some stitches here and here for placement of the pin cushion design when we were stitching it, so that's also helpful. I could see those lines there and there. Okay, so once I see I got everything where I want, I start on the left, and you just kind of guide your blade along the side of the ruler. And now I'm going to turn my mat without moving my block or my ruler. Okay, let's see. I pressed down hard enough. Yay. No. Almost. Very close. Hey, it came off. So there is my pincushion block cut to size. So it's ready to piece together, and all the pretty embellishments will actually get added after it's pieced together. Okay, so that one's done. And so then it's just pretty much rinse and repeat with all of these. There's an orange pop ruler that fits this nicely. Let me show you these because these I didn't get to do live last time because I could not find this piece to my orange pop ruler. It's the middle of the square one. Now I can't get it out of the package. Okay. There we go. This one. So it was the middle of the square package. I couldn't find this one last time, and that's going to be used to cut this. You could also use it for this one, or I could use this one for this one. So that's a preference thing, I guess. But let's go ahead and remove. Now, the 1 by 6, we don't have anything to help us with that one. So that one we'll use just the ruler using the 1/4 inch off the batting stitch to trim that one. But I'm going to double check my stuff to make sure there's nothing that in the orange pop set that will work with that. I never know how much I need to wet this. So let me get those and then one of these so we can go through trimming it live. And then I think I will record. I'll finish the trimming and piecing. There's a lot of ironing that's involved with piecing. And one thing I did not realize is super helpful when I wrote the supply list for this project is a clapper. Where's my clapper? Ooh. I don't even know where it is. but it's like a wooden block that you press with your iron and then you put the clapper on top. It really helps with getting nice presses. Okay, I think those are done. Now, tweezers. Get the bobbin thread out. And just go ahead and trim these 3. So I'm going to press this. I'll still use my towels on there just to, if I have them. I think my iron's hot, yeah. Okay. Let's see if that looks good and if I need to press it from the top. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, those are pressed. Now back to the thing. Okay, let's do the 2x2s first. So the 2x2 method is different because we don't have a little square to put around it and we cut the inside. We have a square to put on top of it, and we're only going to cut 2 sides at a time. Okay. Is this on here? No. Now it's on there. Okay. So if you look at the orange pop ruler closely, there are engravings, and it's probably really hard to see on camera, especially with my lights reflecting off of it. But there is a 2.5 by 2.5 inch engraving here. Maybe if I put it on this side. Yeah, maybe you can see it a little better now. And then there's another line right on the inside of it. That's where you're going to line up your batting, is on that inner line. And then you're going to cut the 2 sides, and then you're going to rotate it and cut the other 2 sides. So I hope that makes sense. So I like to cut from the back side. So I'm going to line up this batting stitch and this batting stitch with the inner engraved lines here. And they have it going all the way around. So you can line up your whole square of your batting stitch there. Make sure you got it right where you want it. And now I'm just going to cut here and here. Okay. And now I'm going to rotate it and line up my batting again. And that gives me my perfect little 2.5 inch square. So you would do the same process on this one. And there's that square. So those are done. And now we're going to trim this one. if I have any tools in the rectangle box. No. So this is everything that came in the rectangle box. This allows me to cut a 1.5 by 2.5 or 4.5 by 2.5. This is for a tumbler block. I'm not familiar with that, but that's cute. And then it comes with a little 3.5-inch ruler. So I don't think there's anything that's going to be helpful for this. If you've done these blocks before and used the orange pop ruler, please chime in and let us know your tips for trimming these blocks. But I think I'm just going to go with the method of using my ruler, and I'm going to look at this batting stitch line, and I'm going to put that right on my 1/4-inch line on my ruler. So now when I cut, I'll be a 1/4 inch away. I think I'm doing that right. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. See if I did a good job. Yay. Okay. So now that is one of the long strips. So we have all these blocks trimmed, and now I still need to go and trim this one and all of these. So just let me know in the comments if you think it's a good idea to just record all of the trimming and piecing of these and speed it up so that you can watch it faster, or if you want me to continue to do it live. So those of y'all that are still watching, let me know which you prefer, because either way I'm gonna do it. It's just how fast y'all watch it. Okay. But let's see. I've only been live for an hour and a half, which the past couple ones I've done have been like closer to 3 hours, which that's what I don't think this would turn into be that long, but just let me know what y'all prefer. Oh, this is a cute idea. So Teresa, I love this idea. So if you look at the book, where's the book? All right. So we did the flying geese block for section 2. If you look at the bonus projects, there is a mini quilt with some little, looks like jars. There it is, if you can see that. And they have clear vinyl, and you actually like put the buttons and the safety pins in it before you stitch the vinyl down, which I've not done that before, so that's going to be fun to see what that process is like. Or they might leave a pocket for you to put it in after and then stitch it up. Probably the more sensible thing. You probably stitch around this way and it leaves a hole, and then you slide your stuff in and then it stitches the top on it. But that is a super cute block. It's in this Sewing Is My Sunshine mini quilt. So she said she's going to replace the, oh, my book is coming apart. This happened with my other one too. The flying geese block with that one. I think that's a super cute idea. I love that. So yes, have fun with this. Trade things out. let's see. All right. So I had two people say the opposite things. One person said, please record the trimming. The other one said, just continue to trim. I love you guys. All right. I'm just going to keep working. And then if it gets to be where I see it's definitely too long, then I will, I'll turn off the live and just start recording, and then I can edit it after. But that's one of the whole reasons why I do lives is because I do not like editing. But it's not too bad if I'm just taking clips and making them go a faster speed. But the problem with me is I tend to become OCD about it, and I'm like, ooh, we should put all these special effects and transitions and words on the screen, and then I get too into it, and then it takes me 2 years to edit one video. I'm kind of weird. All right, so get that off. I can take these towels off now. And I'm just going to press. All right. And this is ready to trim. I'm using this one again and turn it over so I can see my basting, and I can even see the needle holes where I pulled out the basting stitch, and then line it up with this as the batting stitch. So that looks about right. All right, that one's done. Oh, Shannon, yes. So someone else, you might have been the person that told me about it, but somebody else told me about it. I want to say I looked at it. So she's talking about another tool called the Trimmer by George, and it's sold by Hoop Sisters. It has a metal lip on the edge of the ruler so that it slides under the fabric and lets you trim the basting line. The thing I was thinking though with that is you'd have to slide the metal lip, would need to be in between these two pieces of fabric, right? So I guess we would have to pull up our backing, and then the metal lip would kind of sit along the batting and trim it. Am I thinking of that right? Let me know. Because I watched Becky from Power Tools with Thread use it, and she used it on one of her quilts she was making, and it seemed a little bit different from this Kimberbell quilt, and I was wondering if it was going to work. So let me know. And Elsa likes the turntable. Yes, I like this one as well. They had a cuter pink one that was like circular. I think it was by Lori Holt, that I really liked. But did I put a basting one on here? I think I did. But it was more expensive, so I got the cheaper one because I'm cheap. But it works good. I can't remember for this block if I did basting, because I think I did do it on top. Yeah. Because this block was done a bit differently than all the rest, in that we did the flying geese pattern first and then did the background quilting on top of it. I can't tell. I got two bobbin threads that go in the same spot, and I can't tell which one. Might have been for the basting stitch. This one. There we go. All right, pull that out. Okay. And now this one is going to use that same orange pop ruler that we did for the pin cushion, which is 4.5 by 6.5. Yes. And I'm going to turn it over. And this one has a stitch line right where the cut's going to be, but I think it's only on the backing. It's not on the front, because that's the one I did with water soluble. So hopefully that'll be okay. Oh yeah, I like what Lori said. Lori said, I'm not cheap, I'm thrifty. I like that word better. My husband's word is frugal. My husband is cheap. But his response is always, whenever somebody calls him cheap, he's like, I'm not cheap, frugal. This one's a little trickier to trim because we got lots of, let me hold this in place and do this, so when I turn it, this whole bit's not turning with it and making it move. Oh, I wanted to tell y'all, if anyone is interested in coming to the Applique Getaway in Dallas, Texas, July like 17th through the 20th. Wes has really cheap flights right now. And I'm about to book me and the girls' ticket as soon as I figure out if my aunt's coming with me or not. So if you're not familiar, the Applique Getaway is an in-person embroidery expo. And they have a whole vendor market. That's a lot of fun. Look how cute that is. And a bunch of educational classes, which I will be teaching at the time. I have a booth, and I'll be selling stabilizer. My favorite stabilizer is the Stay Perfect brand. And I'll also be selling my course and my design organizer, all that stuff. And I'll be teaching some classes on embrilliance and stabilizer and quilting with your embroidery machine, which is what we're doing. But I'm excited because it's been a while since I went. So I didn't get to go last year. And this will be the first time I'm bringing my girls with me because the past like 4 years they've been fussing every time I leave. And I told them when they're older, I'll take them with me. And now they told me they're older. And I don't know if anyone else is a fan of Joanna Gaines and her Magnolia brand. I watched all the episodes of Fixer Upper when they first came out on HGTV. Love everything she does. And Waco, Texas is not far at all from Dallas, and that's where her company is based. And she has a big old, I don't even want to call it a store, it's like a compound, the Magnolia Market. And I really, really want to go there. And so I'm thinking after the applique getaway's over, I'm going to go drive and go see that and shop before I come back home. But I was telling my aunt about it today, and she had no idea who I was talking about. I'm like, really? I thought everybody knew who that was. So some of y'all make me feel better and tell me y'all love Joanna like I do. Yeah, see, Darlena does. Yay. Okay, so this one is the one I trimmed too much. So I don't even need to dissolve the bastings. The thing, I don't even think. I'll just need to trim that one just to get the backing to be trimmed. So yeah, that's my big plans for July is to do all that. And then because I'm going to subject the girls to going to a place they're probably going to think is boring, the Magnolia Market, I am going to take them to the Great Wolf Lodge in Dallas, which is like a kid hotel with an indoor water park in the hotel. And they've been asking to go there for years. So I'm going to go take them to go do that for a day. And then I'm going to make them come to Waco and be bored while I go to the Magnolia Market. All right. Teresa's like, it is a pretty impressive compound. Yes. I've been looking at pictures and like, I just like did a Google search, like going to Magnolia Market with kids, you know, planning ahead, all that stuff. And like recommendations. You know, pretty much they said get there early. Oh wait, I didn't dissolve that one. That's why it's staying. Okay. And Darlena wants to come too. Yeah, come on. And Patricia said it's worth the trip, but it's going to be hot. Yes, it is going to be July in Texas. I told y'all like a couple years ago, me and my friend Alicia was planning a vacation together, like both of our families. And our girls had never been on an airplane before. So we were looking at really short flights from New Orleans that we could take the girls on an airplane just so that they get the experience before we take them anywhere far. So I was like, someplace in Texas would probably be perfect. And then we thought about San Antonio. And we were like, that's a fun place. They have SeaWorld, they have Six Flags, they have the Riverwalk. So we booked an Airbnb house that had a pool. Like we were all excited about this trip. Girls' first time on a plane. All the things. We get there, we're like, what were we thinking coming to San Antonio in June? It was like being in an oven outside, like an absolute oven. And we have heat here in New Orleans. Heat than like we're used to the humid heat. It was a little bit different. And so then it went from like looking for all indoor activities to bring the kids to. But whoo, it was hot. So yes, I'm sure Waco is going to be similar to that. We went to Austin too. And that was fun. But yes, hot. Yes, we'll bring our hats and sunscreen. All right, so these I'm going to do the ruler. Ozzy. My dog is fussing at me. He doesn't like to come in my room with me because I don't have any rugs. He only likes to walk on rugs. Oh wait, I can't do that. Let me just go across here. He only likes rugs. So he just is on the rug in the room outside my door, fussing at me because he wants me to come out, but he doesn't want to come in because I don't have a rug. He's a funny dog. Now Owen, my cat, will come in here and get all up in my business. And get on this craft table and just like put his nose in everything. But Ozzy, not so much. Okay. So those are all cut. Yeah. It's one side of all of them. All right, so that's done. We're almost done. This isn't taking as long as I thought it would. Ozzy. Can y'all hear him crying as much as I hear him crying? Let me go see what he wants. You want to go in Abby's bed? Come on. There you go. Lay down. All right, gotta make the old man dog happy. Let's see how long he stays in my daughter's room and not cry. We'll see. All right, this time, maybe with y'all watching me, y'all can tell me if I pieced together something wrong like I did last time. I pieced together my scissors block wrong. But it's fine. It still looks good. Gonna make it unique. Okay, and the last one is the one that is already the right cut, but I'm still going to use this basting stitch line. I mean the batting stitch line to trim the backing. Ah, my ruler slid. Oh, somebody's cutting the grass, so Ozzy's mad. So yeah, this one looks a little wonky. So I don't know how well it's going to stitch. We'll see when I stitch it. Okay, so those are all done. So now let's see, how is it all supposed to come together? I'm going to look at my book and pay attention this time. Where's my book? Okay. Book. Gray, green, red. I'm missing something. Okay. Then navy, mint, gray. Then little flower, zigzag. I don't know what direction the zigzags are in. It doesn't matter. Pin cushion. This one. This one. Okay. Just looking at it, I would imagine we'd sew these, make those strips, sew those, and then once we have that, sew it to this, sew it to this, sew it to this. Let's see. No, not quite. So this is the guide for sewing together. So they say do 9 and 10 together, do 15 and 16 together, do these together, then put all this together, put these together on its own, and then once that's done, then put it to that one. Okay. So it says tape the pin cushion floss out the way so that it doesn't get sewn. So you could do that. And I need to go switch my machine over to be in sewing mode. Okay. Oh, Joe was saying the stray cat she took in last year hates having doors closed. He sits and howls at them. I guess he wants to have access to everything so he can know what's going on. The only reason Owen is doing that is because he is sleeping. Because he is a lazy cat and he sleeps most of the day. Alrighty then. So first thing I'm going to do is take my embroidery bobbin out and put my sewing bobbin in. Because that's the thing I forget to do the most. So that's done. I'm going to go back to my home screen. And I'm going to click sewing. And it's going to move my embroidery arm out the way so that I can use it in sewing mode without having to actually take the embroidery arm off. Remove my embroidery foot. And I think last time I did everything with this. Let's use the fancy one this time. So this is the Move It dual feed foot. Let's try that one this time. This one has a plug on the back too, like the embroidery foot. And now I'm just going to put my white thread on. Use my big spool. Okay, so as far as stitching goes, I know I just do where my needle is in the middle because I think that makes my 1/4 inch guide foot actually a 1/4 inch. And yeah, we don't need to turn on doing the automatic reverse stitch because we don't need to do that with piecing. So let's do, this is easy. Let's go ahead and do these pieces together first. So maybe one thing to keep in mind is which way you want your flying geese pointing. I have mine pointing out. And if I look at my book, the red is on top and the gray is on bottom when it's pointing out. So I'm just going to put these right sides together and line them up and stitch them. And you can use some clips or pins if you want to make sure everything stays as it should. Okay. And now I can start. Oh wait, I never threaded my needle. I put it through, but I never hit the thread needle button. Okay, that is better. All right. I'm in trouble. There we go. Let me know if y'all can see. You probably get most of my shoulder, huh? Let me try and pay attention to make sure y'all could see. Yeah. Okay. And it's cool because the stitch ends up being right on top of where your batting stitch box was. And then I'm going to turn this and put that on. So now we can bring this back to the ironing board and press that out. But let's go ahead and grab the next pieces. So I will open my book back up to the page I need. Here we go. Okay, we can do 9 and 10. All right. So as for the other pieces, we're going to do gray to green like this. And then navy to mint, right sides together. So these will be super easy. And just run these right with it. And then other ones are the two little 2x2 blocks. So they're going to look like this on the quilt. So we'll do right sides together and do that. And then the last ones to put together are the pincushion and the 4x4 filler block. We'll do right sides together and go down there. Now we have all of that done, and now we could go to the ironing board and press all of these open. Okay, so let's do that. Wake my iron up. And I really need to find the clapper. Where did I put it? It's usually in this drawer. It's not there. It's working. Oh, thank goodness. Can y'all hear me? My computer died. So I'm so grateful that the stream kept going. I had to plug my computer in. Yay, Teresa says she finished the 1x6s. Yay. All right. Okay, great. Beverly, you see me? Do you hear me? Hopefully it's all good. Okay, let's get back to what we were doing before stupid me forgot to plug my computer in before we started. Like I moved my laptop over to my craft table, and when I do that, I gotta unplug it. And I forgot to plug it back in like a dummy. All right, so we have all our blocks, and with these, because they're so thick, sometimes when you press things, you can do like all of it to one side if you want. But because these are so thick, I'm actually pressing the seams like completely open. I'm not pressing them to a side. So this takes a little bit more work. And that's where the clapper comes in and is helpful. So let's see if I can get this. Okay. Kind of like while that's sitting, and I get the other one ready. Well, the flying geese one is hard because they got some extra thick spots like this one. It does not want to cooperate with me. There we go. My iron is just throwing steam. Okay. Oops. All right, so that one should be good. And then you could press the front too, so make sure. All right, that one's done. Now this one, I want to be careful with my pin cushion, so I'm gonna put my towels like I did before. Maybe put it off to the side. Now these are easier. I think it was just that flying geese one that was tough because it had all that fabric on the side. Okay. You can press the front of this one. Just be mindful of your pin cushion. All right. Just a few more. All right. Thanks, Teresa. Thank you for joining me. All right. And for those that are watching the replay later, and this is a bit boring, do y'all know how to speed up videos on YouTube? Did you know that there's a setting? I do this all the time, especially like when I'm watching a video and I just there's something I'm looking for. I just need knowledge on one particular topic. I'll usually like fast forward the video to the part where I think they're going to talk about what I need, or if I need to watch the whole video, and I will go to the settings. There's like the little gear symbol, I think, on the bottom of the video, and I'll increase the speed. So 1 is normal speed. You can do 1.225. You could do 1.5. 2 is like a little too fast. I usually do like 1.5 just to speed things up. So you can do that if all this bit is boring and you just want to get to the good stuff. All right, so we got all of that done. Now this is where I tend to mess up with putting things back together the way they should. So I'm going to look at my picture. See, I have it like this. This is gray. I think the next thing we want to do is put these together. No. No. See, these together. Like this don't fit. Okay. All right, so I think the next step is these. And then we need to press it open. And then we'll do this on both sides. Okay, so let's go back to make sure I'm doing this right. Yep. Sewing machine, and just piece together this bit. This is maybe where stiletto is helpful, so you can press down where your seams are. Okay, so we're going to go press that open, and now those pins blocks should, the filler blocks should line up nicely. Okay. All right. Now, green, gray green goes on top. Navy mint goes on the bottom. So I will, oh, my pins, my clips. Just clip these into place. Yeah, and they fit perfectly. I look like I sewed this one a little crooked, so it kind of bends. But I did it right, yeah. It's a little bit short. Maybe I have it overhanging this side a little bit. That's where I gotta be careful. Okay, so I'm gonna go do my 1/4 inch seam allowance on this. Angela asked, did I decide if I'm gonna do the ice cream truck? No, I didn't buy it. I was I had put it all in my cart and then I didn't check out. So no, I didn't buy it. But maybe in the future. Okay. That's done. Now we'll turn it around and go on the other side. Can't tell if that's my grass person outside or not. I hear a grass person. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Get a little heavy foot there. I'm not sewing when I'm standing. Okay, so these is done. Now we can flip that up and press it. Let's see. Now, I wish I would have bought the 4th of July one to do with you. I'm so sorry. I know I'm a mess. I like the ice cream truck one, but I don't think I liked it. What my problem was is I ended up putting $100 in my cart because that was when they had that sale where they had like a bunch of stuff on sale that week. And when I put it all in my cart, ow, I touched my arm. I ended up having $100, and then I started, I think, talking myself out of it, and then I didn't check out, and then the sale was over, and then everything in my cart went back to regular price, and then I was like, nope. But I did buy, I don't know, Angela, if you're on my email newsletter, because that's where like I wrote all of what I'm doing. I bought the 4th of July pillow, the Main Street celebrations, and then Kimberbell is coming out with a new kind of 4th of July themed ladder quilt. I think it's called Star Spangled Beauty. I bought that too. That I got from my girlfriend's quilt shop, and I pre-ordered it because it hasn't actually come out yet. But I'm not going to get to actually sewing that one, I'm guessing, until next year, especially if I do it like I'm doing this one where I do it once a week. There's no way I'm going to get this quilt, the bench pillow, and that quilt done before 4th of July. So I might save that one for next spring so that we can video and do it once a week like we're doing this one. I'm trying to be mindful of that pin cushion as well. Okay, I think we're on the last step, which is adding this to this. So we just need to line up. This is where lining up things is a bit important, where I want to line up this seam with this seam. And with this one, someone told me if I pin it and I go in on one side and come out on the other side, it will help this from shifting when I'm sewing. This is a lot of fabric to go through though. Okay. Oh, my dog's fussing at me again. Okay. So I think I got those seams somewhat close. This one maybe is a smidge off. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. To me, I think it would have made sense, just so that I got it right, would be to connect these two and then connect this one to this one and do that as one long strip and do that as one long strip. So this is what the book is telling me to do. And let's do it. Okay. So pulling that pin out. Okay. All right. So that is, yeah, it's kind of off. I'm not too good at this. Getting those points right together. This whole thing needed to shift up a little bit. So I might think about, I don't know if you could see that. There we go. I might think about ripping that and redoing it just to see if I could do a better job. So I don't know if you can tell by camera, but the green is here and the red kind of drops down. And then the mint is here and the gray drops down. That's a little bit below. I think I might rip it and try again. But that is it for section 2. Once you get this one done, then make sure you do the same thing that we did for the awl and press it open. But, oh, does this camera work anymore? This camera might not work. Let's look at this one. Hi. So that is it for today. This was a long class, but this is everything for the filler blocks and piecing together section 2. And once I have that done, I'm guessing I could go ahead and piece section 1 to section 2. So we got something going here. Y'all see that? That's exciting. Very pretty. It is coming together and I am loving it. So that's it for today, guys. If you missed it yesterday, I went live. I forgot to show y'all this. My cousin's actually coming to get it any minute now because she said she was coming after 1 o'clock. This is a baby, like kind of birth announcement banner door hanger. And we made this yesterday. I kind of did a surprise live sip and stitch. So it's on my YouTube channel if you want to see it. But it came out super cute. Super, super cute. And I sent her pictures and she loved it. So I'm happy. I can't wait. I hope the mom likes it a lot. And so that was a tutorial I did yesterday. The recording's on YouTube and Facebook. And I will have a blog post for it soon on my website. The next time I'm doing something is, so we'll be back next week for the sew along. What are we doing next week? Let's do the thread. We're going to do probably one of the spools of thread, and then the other 2 will be homework. And then maybe we'll do the iron block if we can get both of those in. And then the following week do the filler blocks and maybe this cross stitch heart. And then we'll get all of section 3 done. So next Thursday, the spools of thread, fun blocks, and maybe the iron block. And then it's Easter. So for everyone that celebrates Easter, I hope you have a happy one. And I'll have a sip and stitch. We'll have another sew along the Thursday after Easter. And then the day after the sew along, I will have our April sip and stitch, where we're going to do an embroidered leather tray that we're going to add snaps to and turn it into like a cute little jewelry tray. And you can make it, I think this is going to be a great Mother's Day and Father's Day present, depending on what design you stitch on it, what color you make it, and all that good stuff. So, Joe, yes, you really need Natilda back, girl. Come on. All right. So, yep, that's it for today. Thanks for those of y'all that stuck this out with me. I know it was a long one. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. Oh, wait. Stay. I hit the wrong button. There we go. Bye.